Been a few hours, but it felt like days. Only been days, but it felt like months. Been gone for a year, only know like once. Life move fast when you do what you want.
What is up, guys? Welcome back. Today we are doing another meals of the week video, and we are starting off the week making chicken fajitas and corn. So first thing I'm going to start off with is just putting my corn in the pot with some butter and some salt and pepper. And I'm going to cover that up. And then I'm taking this already washed and chopped chicken thighs that we had prepped already and put in the freezer because we wanted to have it on hand for whenever we make fajitas, because it's one of our go-to quick meals. And then I am making a cup and a half of rice, and I'm putting 3 cups of water in the pot. And I wanted to use these onions up because they had been sitting on the counter for a few days, but turns out I was a few days too late because they were very moldy. So I scratched that, and I just went ahead and used the fajita seasoning blend that we already had, and I added that in. I actually should have put it in first before I put the chicken in, but it's fine. It just cooked down and marinated, and I'm going in with some butter and putting my tortilla down. Then I'm adding some cheese, and then a little bit of rice, a lot of rice, and then I'm gonna just add my chicken. And we usually like to put either ranch or taco sauce or salsa on our fajitas. My personal favorite is ranch and salsa, but I kind of switch it up almost every time I eat it. And also sometimes we like to eat fries with it on the side. It is more filling, and it honestly makes it last a little bit longer because we won't eat as many fajitas because we would have fries on the sides. So it helps it stretch a little bit farther so that we can have enough for leftovers the next day. Alright, so fast forward to a couple of days later, we are making lasagna and more corn. This is also one of our staple meals that we have at least once a month. Maybe even more, I don't know, can't even recall. But first thing I'm just going to start off with is laying the noodles down to the side to let them all be submerged in the water and avoid them sticking together. And then I'm going to go ahead and chop up the rest of this onion. I probably normally would not have used as much onion as I did, but there was no reason to just leave like a corner of an onion in there, so I just used a little over half an onion and chopped it up and put it in the pot to saute as I was cooking my ground turkey. And I'm just dicing it up because my daughter does not like onions, so I'm just trying to make it as small as possible so that she won't even notice that they are in there. Beautiful. And now it's time to strain these noodles, and literally almost every single time I make lasagna or boil lasagna noodles, I always have one noodle that is stuck on the bottom of the pot. Never fails. So I'm going ahead, dumping in my onions, spreading them out, and then I'm taking half, I think it's a little over half a pound of ground turkey, and letting that cook in with the onions. And then I'm going to spread out these lasagna noodles because, as you can see, they are already sticking together, and I just dumped them. So just imagine how much they would stick together if I did not separate them as soon as I strained them. But this is always a very painful process because my fingertips are always, getting a little seared as I do it. You see, they are steaming hot, but I do this to make my job easier. So it is definitely something I have to do every single time. So now I'm just checking on my meat because since it's frozen solid, I have to like flip it occasionally to make sure it's getting cooked on both sides. And now I'm going to make my chicken broth. The recipe calls for 14 ounces of broth, and I have just been making my own recently because it's so much more affordable. So now I'm going to go ahead and ground up my meat since it's thawing out at this point. But if y'all don't have one of these like meat grounders or whatever, y'all definitely need to get one because it's so much more efficient and easier to chop up your meat. So once that is done, then I'm going to go ahead and season my meat. I'm using garlic powder, black pepper, and some Himalayan pink salt just because I want to make sure my meat is all nice and seasoned. Get that mixed on in, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken broth to the meat. This is everything I'm using for my sauce. As y'all saw, I already poured in the chicken broth. Just pouring in my tomato sauce. It calls for 16 ounces of tomato sauce. So I just used two 8-ounce cans of tomato sauce, and then I add my tomato paste. It calls for 12 ounces. So I use one 12-ounce can. Getting that all mixed in. The tomato paste is kind of hard to mix in. And then I'm going in and adding some Italian seasoning and some more of the seasonings that I put into the meat because we got to make sure it's seasoned. And then I want to add a little sugar. I'd really just eyeball it and just pour it in there. I kind of like it a little sweet, not gonna lie. But once all that is done, then I'm going to move on to making my ricotta. I was actually extremely low on ricotta cheese, didn't realize. So the ratio was a bit off once I added the egg, and it made it kind of liquidy. But honestly, yeah, I'm not proud of the way that came out. But I added some cheese to it as well and got it mixed up. So now I'm going to go ahead and start constructing my lasagna. Putting a little meat sauce at the bottom just to make sure that the noodles don't stick to the pan. And then I go in and add more meat and then cheese. And then a layer of noodles on top. And then I'm going to move on to the ricotta layer. As y'all can see, it's super thin. Like, it's never like that. I'm low-key embarrassed to like show this, but it still tasted good. It just was a lot thinner, and it was like not how I usually make it. But what can you do? You know, so I'm just going to repeat those steps until I get to the top and until I run out of meat and noodles. But somehow I ended up getting my ratios wrong and ended up having a whole lot of sauce left over on the top, and I actually had to scoop some of it out and put it in a container just because I did not want the top to be flooded with sauce. So yeah, I just topped it with cheese and popped some foil over it and ended up cooking it later that night. So the final meal of the week is pizza, homemade pizza. So I'm taking some canned pizza sauce. These are all the toppings I'm going to be putting on my pizza. And this is some Italian sausage that I prepped and froze. I'm just going to start off by putting the Italian sausage in the pan to cook because it takes the longest to cook. And then I'm getting my can of sauce open because we had ran out of the can that was already open. And I'm just going to go ahead and spread out the sauce all nice and even. Like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of cheese at the bottom just so my toppings can have something to melt down and stick to. so I won't be slipping and sliding off. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add my pepperonis first, because it just kind of is more aesthetic to just add pepperonis first and add other stuff on top. So that's what I usually do. And then I'm going to get my Italian sausage. It's finally done cooking. Always takes a while. Get that all spread out on there. Then adding some bacon bits. I love bacon bits. Add a lot. And then get my turkey on there as well. Get it all nice and spread out. And then go ahead and top it with some cheese. The whole family was in the kitchen making their own pizza. Baby girl back there was adding her some Italian seasoning on hers. I had to take it away. She was adding a little bit too much. Then she wanted to add some on mine.
Do it?
Yeah. Kind of got to shake it. Up and down. All right. Jesus. Thank you, all done. Good job helping and putting a lot of Italian seasoning on there. Very good job. Okay.
Everybody,
Say pizza.
pizza.
Alright, and this is the finished product. Okay, you see that nice broil that the cheese has on it? You cannot tell me that this did not come from a Domino's. Okay, so proud of how it came out. It was delicious.
Is your pizza good? Okay, well, take a deep breath.
Alright, so now we are getting it all nice and chopped up. Look at that cheese pool. It was delicious. But I just want to thank y'all for watching. See y'all next time.